Grew up in the south side of Chicago, mostly growing up in bad neighborhood, bad surroundings.
I grew up on the south side of Chicago. I was born to a single mom when she was 18 years old. We were a very close-knit family. We did life together every single day. My father was not involved in my life at all. We met, can I talk about the day before we met though? Because the day before we met, I found out I was pregnant. Called him and was like, hey, just so you know, I'm pregnant and it's not yours because we haven't met yet. And then we went on our first date anyway. We enjoyed each other's company, but because I was pregnant, we decided that we would just be friends with benefits. And then once I had my son, Andrew was very active in the pregnancy. He came to doctor's appointments, he took me to work every day, he brought me food all the time.
Started my career out in Iowa, and when I was down there, wanted a family. And I always loved Shadae. So it just made sense in my mind to just make a family.
So he invited me and my son to come to Iowa, and he called and said, I miss Aiden, you guys should move here.
We ended up getting married in Iowa, had another wedding back here in Chicago with family and friends. And from there we thought, everything would be, bubble gum and rainbows, right?
And so we went into a marriage not really liking each other at all. We argued a lot, and we fought a lot. And then we moved to Indiana and started coming to Living Stones. And I would say over the next year, our marriage went downhill. We had only been married a year at that point.
Yeah, we pretty much became roommates. I think we were pretty much always roommates. The way we see it was more of a transactional type of marriage at first.
In the beginning of our marriage, was very aggressive. I was the leader of our household.
I didn't take a leadership role at home, understanding that through marriage class, encounter, and other relationships that passivity is like a tool for the enemy for men. Passivity and isolation is the quickest way to get a man off of his game and off of the assignment that God has presented all men to be leaders.
We had all these tools. We knew all these good things, but we did not know how to implement it in our marriage. And so we still struggled. And then I came to my end, and he was out of town with Aiden, and I went to Terry Harvey, and I told her, I'm filing for divorce today. And she affectionately told me, no, you're not. You're going to talk to Pastor Ron before you do anything. And I went to talk to Pastor Ron, and I told him the exact same thing. And so Pastor Ron gave me a challenge, and he said, stay in marriage class for 6 more months and pray and ask the Holy Spirit what it is that he will have you do and implement the things in marriage class. And as I started to do that, I feel like scales started falling from my eyes.
Yeah, I think the biggest thing that got our marriage back is focusing on ourselves first, right? How does a man supposed to lead his family? Spiritual leadership is key. He began to bless us financially and as well in our family. Right now we have 5 kids. Never
dreamed of having 5 children. It was Father's Day week. And my son was sitting in the car, and he was like, for Father's Day, I want to write Daddy a letter of all the things that he's done for me. And so I was like, okay, great. What do you want me to write? Because at this point, I'm frustrated and I'm irritated, and I don't know anything that he's done for him. And he's just started listing off a ton of things. He taught me how to ride my bike. He taught me how to tie my shoes. He loved me when I was down. He gave me baths. He held me when I cried. He watched TV with me. And it was such a Holy Spirit moment for me, because as he talked, it reminded me of who my husband was and all the things that I had lost, all the things that I just dismissed about who he was and the great father that he was. And not just a great father, but a great husband and a great provider and a great pastor over our house. And I missed all of that because I was so focused on my own selfishness and on my own needs and on my own desires. And so in that moment, I told the Lord, I'm going to fight. And I can remember now the day that we renewed our vows. And his vows, when you said, what was the first thing you said?
I like you. Done.
He said, I like you. And I broke because honestly, that was all I ever wanted in our marriage. We lived, I don't know how many years in a marriage that we loved each other without a shadow of a doubt, but we did not like each other. And to be able to say, I like you and mean it was such a big thing. And now when stuff comes up, we know how to fight right. Like even our little sign, our 4 rules of fighting fair, like we take that seriously because our marriage is important and our family is important and the mission is important.
And that's us.
Yeah.
This is our story.